The Speaker of the House makes a little more money than the average member of Congress, but not enough to make up for weeks like the past one. The Republican agenda in the House ground to a halt because of Republicans. About a dozen GOP members voted with the Democrats to keep GOP bills from coming to the floor. These members voted against bills they actually support. It's the same cast of characters from January who tried to derail the Speaker. What point are they trying to make, if any? Let's find out. Joining us now is the Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy from the great state of California. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Speaker. I guess the first question is why? Why are these members voting with Democrats to keep GOP bills from coming up for a vote?
I'm not quite sure. They haven't exactly spelled out what they want. And Trey, you know this better than anyone because we missed you serving with us in Congress. But remember, the Republicans only control the House by 5 votes. The Democrats control the Senate and the White House. What happened was less than 5% of our members joined and voted with Democrats to deny us from bringing conservative bills to the floor. And if you can't bring bills to the floor to even be debated, you're turning the House over to Democrats. That's why we've got to come together. We have no other choice but to be able to have that conservative voice for the American people. We have been very successful this year. From the Parents' Bill of Rights, from our investigations, from passing a bill to make us energy independent, from bill to secure our border. I mean, bill after bill after bill. And then we just got the largest cut in American history, more than $2 trillion. We brought work requirements back. We were able to stop any IRS agents from being hired this year, pulling that money back, $1.4 billion, and another $20 billion coming in. So we've got a lot of work to turn around and start moving through. And now we have the appropriation process. That is where a lot of conservative victories can be put into law. But if we can't bring the bills up, if it continues to be turning the floor over to Democrats, we're going to be in trouble. That's why we've got to find a way to move forward.
You know, Speaker, you mentioned the first several months of your tenure. You know that things are going well, or else it's the apocalypse. When Politico writes a positive story about House GOP accomplishments, you know something is going on. So I guess what I'm trying to figure out, and to be fair, it is not the Freedom Caucus. The Freedom Caucus has several dozen members. It is a fraction of that caucus, but it's enough to derail what you want to do. So I mean, do they have a list of demands? Or do you have any idea what will get them to allow bills they actually support to come up for a vote?
I haven't seen a list of demands of where to go, but think about this. This is less than 5% of the conference. What we tried to do when we became the majority was to change the House. We opened the House back up. No longer do you have these bills that are 1,000 pages. No longer bills rush to the floor. You get 72 hours to read it. And sometimes when you change the nature of how Washington's work, that will disrupt people. But the one thing I have always learned is we have to stay together because we have a 5-seat majority. So if less than 5%, and remember what they're doing here, they're not voting against the bill, they're denying bills, conservative bills, to coming to the floor. So in essence, they're voting with Democrats. And when you do that, you're turning the floor over to the Democrats. Democrats are very excited by this. We've got to be able to solve this problem collectively because any 5 people can stop anything. And you're correct. This isn't Freedom Caucus. These are some members who aren't in Freedom Caucus. But from the same point, anybody in the conference can do this to one another, and that's not a good place to be. So hopefully we were able to work this out, move forward, and really come back with a lot of that conservative agenda that we've been very successful. That the president, when we would pass a bill, say he's going to veto, he ends up signing it. Think about that $400 million that we are able to stop of hardworking taxpayer money being sent off to China in the global fund. These are ideas that no longer are ideas but are signed into law. This success has got to continue, and hopefully this week we get back on the right track.
I'll let you go with this question. There are some members who claim there was some power-sharing agreement when you were up for Speaker in January, and I'm sitting here doing the math. 6 people can shut down the GOP agenda, so I guess you better have a lot of power sharing agreements, because all it takes is 6 people to get together and say, you know what, Mr. Speaker, we're not going along. What are they talking about that you're going to share power with this group, but not all the other groups within your conference?
Yeah, the one thing I do, I'm going to treat everybody equally, and that's exactly what we've done. If you look what we've done on committees, and you served, so you understand this better than others. I've been able to take all philosophical beliefs and put them on all different committees. I promise to be able to take us back to that 2020 number or something to equivalent amount of cuts. We surpassed that. Non-defense is below 2022 numbers. Defense, rightfully so, we added money to it. You've got your home state senator thinks it's not enough. A Republican, Lindsey, wants to even spend more. But see, you've got to be able to, if you want to secure those victories, work requirements and others for welfare reform, you've got to make it into law. We made President Biden sign things he never would sign into law, nor say that he said it was a red line. That's what we did when we stuck together. So in these moments are moments that we've got to correct.
Some people just have a hard time claiming victory for reasons I will never understand. Well, I'm going to end like I started. The Speaker makes a little bit more money than the average member of the House, but it ain't worth it. So thank you for coming on, Speaker Kevin McCarthy.
Thank you, Trey.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.